Our today's guest is Angelie Mullins, global executive, investor, and a founder of Ethereum Ventures.
From scaling companies to leading global teams, she spent her career turning ambition into real impact.
$1 billion of business. Luck with that. Like, get the techno beats while you're getting like a sauna and a massage. It's not cancer. It's just become a billionaire and everything.
Simple thing is.
It's fine.
Hello everyone, it's Copernicus Berlin here, and welcome to the new episode of our podcast, How I Built My Life in Berlin.
So for all the listeners, I'm Angelie Mullins, originally from sunny San Diego, California. I've been in Berlin now for 7 years. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's a long time. But either way, I love Berlin, love the city. I'm in the tech space. In my career, I've been every single C-level title you can imagine: Chief Marketing, Chief Growth, Chief Revenue, Chief Commercial, and I'm also the CEO of Ethereum Ventures, and I help CEOs scale their companies. Nice to be here.
Perfect.
Great. Why did you choose Berlin, and how did you overcome the fear, if you had one, to come and build your career in the new country?
Oh my goodness. So I started in sunny San Diego. It has perfect weather, and yeah, people surf there and it's the beach. Berlin is not that. So unfortunately, it's not that. But I actually lived in Melbourne, Australia before this. So on the other side of the planet, and I've been scaling tech companies for the past 15, 20 years now. I started in big tech, Amazon, Intuit, GoDaddy, and then now have done scale-ups. And Berlin is like a scale-up hub, right? The investments are going here, and I feel like you can walk down the street in Berlin, and it's like every third person you know is a founder, and somebody's founding something. So that's why I chose to come to Berlin. The energy is amazing. Yes, I do miss the beach. Yes, I do miss California culture. But Berlin has its own culture, right? It's a melting pot of so many just countries and people coming together, so I love it.
It is. Have you seen the Euro Tour, the movie?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh my gosh.
But I did see the Berlin I Love You. So just like they have New York I Love You, they have Berlin I Love You. Keira Knightley.
Ooh,
Yeah.
she's pretty.
Yeah.
Because in that movie, the impression of Berlin, it's super, super different from the one which you were saying. It's definitely not a startup hub. It's more about the parties, the raves, the spending youth in the best way.
You know, actually, probably for the listeners, I have never been to a club in Berlin.
You've never been to a club in
I've
Berlin?
never been to a club in Berlin. So I think all my friends now, they're like, we're going to take you to Berghain or Kit Kat. Or I'm much more of like the meditation, kind of person. So I know every sauna, hammam. I was a new hammam that I found here. It was amazing. Any sauna massage place, I'm your girl.
I think Berlin can combine a rave and a sauna or something.
I know. It's like get the techno beats while you're getting like a sauna and a massage.
And then in the morning after the rave, after the Berghain, you go to the sauna and then to the 5 to 8 job. And then it's really nice.
All Berlin experience.
Do you actually believe in the power of the place? Maybe there are some certain cities which give you certain mood, or in which you are being more productive?
So coming from Southern California, we believe in energy and all of that. And I do believe, in the energy of a place. Different cities also have different map codes. So if you believe in horoscopes and all of that, each city, actually represents different codes. So they actually say Berlin is a Cancer city? Not cancer, not the medical thing.
Too much.
Yes, Cancer, the horoscope sign. So the crab. And it's actually slow moving. Slow moving. It's very interesting. So for all of you, if you've ever wondered why it takes so long for things to happen, so that's more on the energy side. But what I believe, for me, Berlin is just they call it the New York of Europe. So you have everybody coming here and everyone's doing something. I think it's slow relative. Maybe slow relative to America, but fast relative to other places. I think it all depends on where you're from. For me, I'd love it to move faster, for sure. But this is a place where you can come and you can have a life. For me, coming from the United States, they have that 996 culture in tech. So for all the techies out there, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, no, you don't want to burn out before you even started. And so I think Berlin offers a really cool, I would say, balance to that. And you find people can have a great life in tech or whichever industry you're in and a great personal life, and you're in the middle of Europe, so you can hop on a train, plane, whatever, and go visit wherever you want.
That's what I'm saying.
You actually worked in a lot of companies, including Amazon, and as I know, you excelled their revenue to $1 billion in Amazon across 68 international markets.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Wow, just a little bit, yeah.
We wanted that right, yeah.
Yes.
Does this experience translate well to the European markets?
Oh,
or
no.
No? Oh, no.
Not at all.
How it works here?
So Amazon is an amazing company, but I always equate it. I've never been in the military myself, but I always equate it to somebody that like goes to war, right? You come out, you have that band of brothers, you know, you've got this whole thing, but you never want to do it again. It is probably one of the most excruciating companies I've ever worked for. And for all you techies out there, you can look up Gawker article about Amazon. They called it a soul-crushing experience. Like the work conditions are crazy, insane. They have no concept of vacation. Maybe things have changed since I worked there, but the majority of people I know that have worked there say amazing, brilliant things that they're creating, but at the cost of like everyone else.
Of the cells, of the living.
Exactly. So it's just, I'm happy to have the experience. I was in my early 30s at the time, and I got to manage $1 billion of business. But at that time, that was like 2012, 2013, Amazon was at 72 billion. So it's like 1/72 of the business. But it was great. And we expanded. So we were the international expansion arm, and we were actually doing all the tests and case studies on where Amazon should expand next. So that was super cool, and got to do like major partnership deals, got to do major go-to-market marketing initiatives. That part was cool. But my team, it was 7 people at the time that was doing all that. And to give you an idea, so Amazon Prime, so all of you that have the Amazon Prime membership, when I was working there in Seattle in the headquarters, there was only 4 people on the team at Prime. 4.
Wow,
the
isn't it the
entire
time when Amazon switched Prime from 2 days to 1 day delivery? And
They have Prime 1 day. They have Prime, like, I think they had 1 hour, if they still have 1 hour.
Incredible.
So when I was living in Seattle, I actually did a test between like Amazon and Netflix and whichever else. You don't have to actually leave your house. And you can have everything done for you. Anything you want can be delivered. You can have any movie, like any service that you want. And it just creates this very interesting culture when things are so instant. What else is there? Like it creates this very weird thing. And I think it's all of this instantaneous gratification is not maybe the best for the newer generations coming up. I mean, I grew up in a generation where before the mobile phone, literally, like I remember when they first came out, they were super huge, like a brick, right? Super huge. And so now you have people growing up and like the phone is second nature. You have the little kids growing up and AI is going to be second nature.
And the phones are much smaller.
Yeah, the
obviously.
phones are going to be much smaller. So it's very interesting to see. But back to Amazon, it was an amazing experience. It was 6 city blocks of us. So 6 American city blocks that are massive. So thousands of people. And at the end of the workday, the police would have to come out to the streets to navigate traffic. Because imagine 13,000 people coming out of buildings at once, like they're taking up the whole streets. It's crazy. Yeah.
Such an expressive experience. And what made you shift from the corporate culture to actually building your startups? Because now you're a founder of Atheris Ventures.
Yeah, I am. So now I have my own venture firm, Atheris Ventures. And Atheris, of course, it comes from Greek mythology like every other startup. So the god Aether is the god of the sky and pure light. So I wanted something that represented something limitless, helping founders build their companies, also advising founders on their companies and how to move things forward. And I do a lot of mentorship work, a lot of branding work as well. So it's quite fun. What made me move from corporate to scale up? You know, I've been out of corporate land for at least 10 years now. And what I notice when I talk to my corporate friends, they're so fixated on these titles. Director versus senior director, VP versus senior VP, executive VP. And I just said to my friend one day, what the hell is the difference between a SVP and an EVP? Really? And they couldn't answer. And I said, well, that's your problem right there. Like, it's, they become so big and so over bloated that especially at the leadership levels, your job just becomes politicking. And that's not what I wanted. There are some people that they love that. Me, I'm like, no, I just want to do good things with good people. And so I think you have to make a decision. Are you a big corporate person? Are you a startup person? Are you a scale-up person? And you just make a decision and go with it.
Good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have another jokes to it?
No, not yet.
Oh, such a pity. Then I will come with some boring stuff. There is a theory called the four burners theory. It basically says that life is a stove with four burners, with family, friends, health, and career. And if you really want to excel and achieve some great results, not all four burners can work in full power. You need to either switch one or just turn it off. Maybe if it's not too personal, did it appeal to you? And what did you sacrifice for a successful career?
That's a great question. I have to say, not a lot of people ask that question. They always say, how do you get it perfect? So I like this question. This whole concept of a perfect balance doesn't exist, right? And you always have to sacrifice something. So for me, most people would think on the weekends I'm too boring because I'm working or trying to figure out how to launch something or to do something. That's also why I do a lot of meditation. I think it helps. There are some women that come up to me and they try to ask how do they have families and be a perfect mom and raise a small child whilst also being a leader at a company, whilst also doing 50 other things. And I just tell them that is not possible. You need to choose where your priorities are. And I think priorities will change as your life changes. At some stages, your priorities is this, other stages it's that, and it goes more like a roller coaster. Everybody thinks that life and your career is like this straight line. And I just tell them, show me a person to where that's actually happened. Really? Said no one. So it's just not like that. So this whole concept of a perfect balance doesn't exist. There was a book by Sheryl Sandberg, this Lean In book, was quite famous a while back. She was the COO at Facebook. And she just talked about, you just have to lean into everything. And then came another book called Lean Out. I have to not do it. If you're rich and you're a billionaire and you can afford a nanny and a chef and a personal trainer which would be nice, right?
Yeah, it would be amazing.
It would be amazing. Then you could have your perfect balance, right? Basically, when you have 10 people doing it for you.
So the answer is to become a billionaire.
It's just become a billionaire and everything.
Simple thing.
It's fine.
Everyone is doing that.
Everyone's doing that.
Yeah, if you want to have 20 millions by the end of the year, just make 1 million per month.
Yeah.
But for me, I sacrificed, I personally don't have children. That's my choice. But other people, they want that. And so just to understand that it's the ebbs and flows. I work a lot sometimes over the weekend. So my balance, like everyone knows, I am not a morning person. 8 a.m. And I know in Germany, they're obsessed with these 8 a.m., 8:30 calls.
It's awful.
No, it's terrible.
The worst thing.
And I said, don't talk to me then. My life doesn't start before 10, but if you need someone to hop on a call at 12 midnight, I'm your girl. So everybody just has your own rhythm and cycle and you have to know what it is. And then you just have to find your balance for it.
And that's what is also better about the startups than the corporate culture. You don't need to wake up at 8 a.m. to go somewhere.
And this corporate culture thing, I just saw a friend of mine at Zalando just said that they just rolled out a new thing where they want to have all the people come into the office 5 days a week.
Oh, no.
They just rolled this. And I'm just like, why? This whole old idea of what in America we call butts in seats. It doesn't mean anything. And it really actually kills the productivity. So I don't agree with it. They have their reasons. But I think that we're evolving beyond that. And I think Gen Z, you guys are questioning, right?
We do. Yeah. We do quite a lot.
They keep questioning, what is the point behind that? And does it work? So keep questioning, people. Yeah.
Questioning is always better than just going with something you don't like. Yeah. And actually, from that, we can ask another question. I saw one interview with you. I think it was about SaaS and skilling, all that stuff. Where you told that each company needs to have a person who talks to public from the leadership group And I think when you are an expat, when you leave and move to a new country, you always need to defend your boundaries and to speak a lot with people. And I think you have that experience, like to defend your ideas, even on the C-level. Maybe you can share some tips how to do it properly and how do you prepare for the presentations.
How do you do it properly? I think that's the thing. What would I say? You know, the one thing that they don't, which I think might be in another one of your questions, but the one thing that they don't teach you at business school is to have mental resilience. They teach you everything else, right? A lot of stuff that you're frankly not going to need. They don't teach you how to actually survive and keep going when stuff hits the fan. And I find that a lot of people, it doesn't matter what generation you come from, they are cracking under this pressure because they don't have the skills. And I find the social foundations are breaking down, especially with COVID time. Everyone was alone, right? And so you don't have, I find for men, actually women are starting to thrive. It's the men I see that are cracking. Ooh. And I do a lot of mentorship. And at first, because I position myself at first as a mentor for women, but I see a lot of men coming to me and they're like, we need help. So congrats to them for acknowledging, but I find that they don't have the same social circles. In certain countries, men would get together at the pub or they'd have their sports leagues or stuff like that. It's not as much anymore, so they're really struggling. But back to your question, the mental resilience, I think this is the thing we should be teaching, right, in our schools. This is the thing that a lot of, I would say, junior members of companies don't have. So it's really going to be an interesting ride over the next 10 years because you're going to see you have a generation, the baby boomers, which are my parents that grew up in the war era. And so they have a completely separate mentality, right? I once interviewed a person that asked me if they could schedule their life around their dog's schedule.
Dog schedule?
Their pet's schedule, because that was their support system, and I'm trying to figure out how do I deal with it, but it's such a different culture and value system, but just the mental resilience. When I grew up and I was going to school in my first roles, you had, if you were doing a project or you had a competition, there's a winner and there's a loser, and it's just the way. Now it's like you get a consolation prize just for participating, and I'm like, that's not how life works.
It's boring. It's right. Like there's no point then.
There's no point. And you have, especially in, I would say, private schools or prep schools, parents are paying a lot of money for their kids to go to these fancy schools. And if the kids don't pass the course or don't do a good job, the parents are arguing or sending lawyers after their teachers. And I'm like, you need to focus on making sure that your kids are doing the work, because in real life, they're going to have to. And it's not just we're competing against other humans. In the next 10 years, we're competing against AI. Okay, this is a big, big shift. We're in what's called the fourth technological age. So the last one was the industrial one with the cars and manufacturing. And now this is the fourth one. Like, this is going to be one of the big ones. There'll be some new jobs, right, that will be created. But these new jobs are going to be managing AI systems, which means that you have to have the knowledge and expertise to know how to manage the GPTs, the AI workflows. And so people that don't have that, you can't cliff notes your way through this thing. So it's going to be, the mental resilience is going to be huge. And I see that is lacking, like on the business side, and I see it lacking in the social circles as well.
But how can one build it?
How do you build it? I think you have to be aware of who you are and what your strengths are, and be really honest with yourself with what your weaknesses are. And a lot of people are, I think that they just need to look in the mirror and then to be really honest about what they need to do to level up. Or sometimes you just have to say, that's not for me. Like, for example, if someone gave me like a chemistry exam, I would be like, good luck with that. Like, that is just not my thing in life, but for some people to recognize. Educators and what they're talking about in the university system is bringing back this old school apprenticeship. So I don't know if you guys remember, and not everybody would go to traditional universities. Some people would become plumbers and electricians, and they would do, And actually, you know what? Elon Musk and all the other technocrats, you know what they say is going to be like the number one jobs now?
Yeah, and
AI?
do you know how much they earn?
Huge
It's
money.
huge money.
All
yeah.
you people out there, plumbers, electricians, that's where it's out. They're earning huge money, and at least now it's one of the things AI can't replicate. And all the software developers, they were kings for years, right? And they were babied,
my
and they
God.
got everything handed to them, and their salaries were crazy. I saw a couple years back, Google, the starting salary for some AI engineer, $900,000.
Now it's same for the plumber, but
Yeah.
definitely not for the software engineer.
Exactly.
It's,
So times have changed, and it's going to be interesting because the amount of jobs is actually going to decrease. So I tell everybody, I'm telling you now, go online, watch on YouTube. The Anthropic CEO did an interview on CNN with Anderson Cooper. Go to YouTube, Anthropic CEO, Anderson Cooper. You will find it. And he talks about the huge unemployment tsunami that's coming. And so think, the CEO of Anthropic got on national television and said this to the world, like it's not a joke.
Alex is now set for picking the wrong profession. Or
no, I'm the person. I'm the person who's replacing people. That's what I'm doing. And everybody in our team knows that. They're approaching to me, and we had the person Arsen. He's one of our team members, and he will watch this video for sure. And Arsen was working quite a lot on many materials because we're doing a lot of manual processing. We are doing a lot of youth projects, and after those youth projects, we need to do a lot of reporting. And Arsen was, we've been in Varna, in Bulgaria, in summer. It's very nice there. We had the training course, and every evening, instead of going to the clubs, the bars, or hanging out, Arsen was sitting and working on those reports. And then in one evening, I just sat there, I wrote the script, added the script to the platform, and it's done all like 300 reports with ChatGPT like in 30 minutes. Yeah, so Arsen, now you can go and have some rest. So
every teacher has favorite students, and I suppose like every entrepreneur has their own project that they raised from the ground up, like a child. If you needed to choose, which project would you choose if you have?
Oh, that I raised up since baby times. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't actually say it's a company. I've built a couple nonprofits, which has been pretty cool. One was the Poverty Museum. It was in partnership with the United Nations, and it was to actually give real money, right, to different countries to build things like wireless communications, etc. But I would actually have to say it's like the reinvention of myself and my own career, because I've been kicked on my butt many times in my career, right? And, you know, with these tech companies, I think the average tenure is like 2 years in a role. And at executive levels, it can be even less. So I come from the marketing side, and a chief marketing officer, your average tenure is like 18 months. It's crazy. So I've seen all kinds of things. I've had to fire a bunch of teams. Like it's been, you know, really crazy. And also like fire people who I would consider, you know, friends or really star performers because of crazy decisions by a CEO, by investors, for reasons that are, you know, may not totally make sense. So I think this is going through your career and constantly evolving yourself. You become a better human, you become more authentic. And I say you actually choose who you want to be. And I think going through in very intense situations, I always tell people that work with me, you don't know the leader that you're working for until stuff hits the fan. Then you know who you're working with, right? And so I have been able to maintain really great relationships and connections of people that I've worked with even 10 years ago. I just had a guy in Australia because I live there and was helping a tech company there. And he texted me the other day and he's like, I still remember I took the team to like a museum and we bought notebooks and we're out in nature and we're going to be creative. He's like, that was still one of the best things a boss ever did for me. And I still remember that like 10 years later. And I'm like, like this. So it's stuff like that. So just try to be your best human. So this is the project I've been nurturing forever. It's just myself and going through everything. But I hope that the lessons I've been going through, I do a lot of mentoring and a lot of talking. So to share those lessons, right? And to just be honest about the journey. because I think you're also talking about career growth. It's like a spaghetti bowl. Everybody thinks it's this rocket ship, and I'm like, no, it's a spaghetti, bowl.
You go there, you come back.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember like I went to Australia and I went for a certain job, signed the job. They paid a ridiculous amount of money to move me there, put all my stuff on a boat, and then literally 9 weeks later got fired. And then they were like, we don't think you fit in the culture. And I was like, give me a break. Right? Terrible. Ended up getting another job, so that was fine. But I was there on a visa, right? Had no idea. And I'm sure many people here in Berlin can relate. They come to this country, they're on a visa, they're totally dependent, right, on their employer. And then for reasons unbeknownst to them, it's just poof, some magic decision. So because I've gone through so many weird things, I'll call it, in my career, it's also shaped me and the leader that I am and how I want to lead, and also how I handle people. Be human, do the right thing. You can never go wrong with that.
Which was the most expensive decision you made? You made so many of them.
I can tell you of a couple F-ups. When I was at Amazon, so it was called Amazon Global. It still exists. It's this international expansion. So like if you're in Bulgaria or Vietnam or South Africa and you want to buy something from Amazon, which Amazon website do you go? Does it have customs, shipping, etc.? So this just one page of this Amazon is worth billions. Everyone at Amazon at that time had to learn SQL.
Wow.
I knew no SQL. And so my boss at the time, he was like, just learn it, pick it up. So I'm trying, it's like, just make some changes to the page. I was like, really? Are you sure about that? He's like, yeah. And so I try. I crash the page twice. Oof. Every hour at that company is worth millions of dollars. And so I thought, I'm like, oh my God, for sure, I'm getting fired, for sure. And he's like, no, just fix it. And I'm like, okay. So that was a very expensive mistake. Others, in the scale-up land, we do go-to-market programs, and then we decide to shift our ICP, our ideal customer profile, and then we shift it again, and we shift it again, and then it becomes a game. How many times can you shift it? And each time is money, right? So very expensive decisions. I've made wrong hiring decisions. That's ridiculously expensive sometimes. So all kinds of things, for sure.
Wow.
Well, so many things I want to ask about personal branding, about having decisions wrong and the right ones. But I think we are running out of time.
Yeah, a little bit.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So I would ask the last question, since our podcast is also about the Berlin, and you live in Berlin for 7 years already.
7 years.
And you've never been in any kind of clubs, which is...
it's so bad.
No, it's not bad. It's the good sign, I would say. Yeah. You're a very unusual person.
Yes.
What is your favorite place here in Berlin?
Oh my gosh. Everyone knows I practically live at Soho House. So, yes, I know. And I thought we could maybe do the recording there. There's that. A couple of other great places. Ooh, Sant Buena is a fantastic cafe on Torstrasse. Amazing.
It's Italian something. It's with tables outside.
The tables outside.
Yeah, I love this place. I work next to it.
Yes, it's amazing place. So I'm more of a Mitte, Seeburg, and Piberg girl. So coming down into Kreuzberg, I'm like, the wilderness, what's going on.
So Torstrasse 1, the Soho House, and Torstrasse 100 something, it's the place to be, it's the place to live.
I also love Fotografiska. So the museum, so it's the brand new one on Oranienburger. Amazing museum, photography. They did it in this old rundown kind of abandoned place. Tascheles, I'm probably butchering the name, but either way, it's really cool. So they have graffiti, they have the wall, which is half being built, and then inside is all this amazing art. They have cafe, they have restaurants. So yeah, you will absolutely see me there all the time. So go to Fotografiska. It's absolutely amazing. So those are some of my favorite places. And then what else in Berlin? I think actually going outside core Berlin and going to Potsdam and taking the boat and just going around like Havel and Spandau and the water and seeing all these like bougie mansions. There's a really cool one called the Lieberman Villa. It's in Wannsee. And so it's a beautiful mansion on the water and have beautiful gardens. And you just go down the street and boom. That's the one thing I love about Berlin is it never is what it looks like on the outside.
It is, especially the rooftop of the Soho House.
Exactly.
And there's like, there's Eine Euromiete on the first floor, and yeah, it's uncomparable.
It's amazing. So, yeah, I love Berlin. I mean, it's just a mixture of everything. And so that's what I love about it. And I feel like Berlin is a city of hofs. So the courtyards, it's like a courtyard inside another one. And it's kind of like those like Russian doll things. You like pick it
Matryoshka,
up.
yeah.
And then it's just like keep going. And it's like, how many hofs can we get to? But it's a cool city. Cool city, cool vibe.
Cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for being with us. Dear viewers, thank you very much for being with us as well. And see you in the next episode.